Hey, this is Livy spilling all the political tea, straight politics, and no chaser. You know the go-to for all your political needs. Think the Bodega Boys, but political. It's millennial politics. They're piping hot. I was trying to hold this episode until it was confirmed that Mitch McConnell was dead or not. But that's taking a little too long. So here we are. New York, just like the country and the rest of the world, just can't get a break right now. I don't know. Like, damn, last month we had such high highs, and now we have such low lows. Like, there was a fire attack outside of the Federal Plaza the other day. A man was arrested after allegedly pouring a flammable liquid on the steps of 26 Federal Plaza in Lower Manhattan, igniting a fire and setting off fireworks. What the fuck is happening? The building houses federal agencies, including ICE and FBI. Maybe that's why he did it. Federal officers suffered minor injuries, and the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force is investigating. The only good thing happening in the city right now is the World Cup being over. Thank God. Argentina didn't win. Thank God. But y'all know Argentina is the way it is because of Spain with the whitewashing, colorism, racism, right? So Spain winning is really not, it ain't the best thing in the world either. Just checking. And before you try to give Trump credit for hosting it, America actually secured the 2026 World Cup bid under the Obama administration many, many moons ago. So thank you to Barack. I was thinking maybe Argentina lost because of their viral burger shop entitled, and I quote, Nigger Burger. Yes, you guessed it. It's a big black burger. The bread is actually black. Now, that level of racism is insane. That's why they lost. Like, y'all are fucking weirdos. Oh, and all those Argentinians starting fights with Americans, especially Black Americans or other Black people around the world. Let me tell you this. Don't let your racist upbringing and country get your ass beat. Keep it cute and go the fuck home to your racist abode. Thanks. Unjust never prospers, and God don't like ugly. Speaking of nigger burger, apparently there was a nigger march, or there will be, and that's nigger with the ER. A nigger march on August 22nd at noon at the Minneapolis City Hall. And I confirmed that this is a real event. I wonder who is going to be there. Will it be a good old-fashioned Klan rally? Hmm, we shall see. Tweet me and let me know what you think. Who you think will be there? At TPT with Libby. Let me know. Oh, and all those Black people and children dying from lynchings are not suicides. Please cut the bullshit. Just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm not stupid. Rest in peace to the little girl that was found hanging from a tree outside of a Black church in Charlotte. Rest in power, princess. Anyways, NYC is some NYC is on some bullshit again. Can't breathe because of the Canadian wildfires and Legionnaires disease. Can't keep cool because of the extreme heat from global warming. There were torrential rainstorms and flash flooding all week because of global warming. Like, what the fuck happened to us? I guess the weather gods saw we were having a little too much fun this summer. Can't eat fruits and vegetables because they are contaminated. No, seriously, don't eat the lettuce, cucumbers, any greens, nor berries, guys, or you'll be shitting everywhere for weeks, apparently. But to make up for it, wait for it. To make up for it, Taco Bell is introducing a $1 lettuce-free enchiridios and nacho fries to regain customer trust. Remember, it was confirmed that Taco Bell's lettuce from Taylor Farms in Mexico was contaminated, causing the explosive diarrhea called Psychospora. Yeah, me personally, I wouldn't eat there if I was you ever again. Damn, there are all different types of diseases everywhere because people are nasty. Like Legionnaires is in the air on the Upper East Side. So if you have to be in the area, don't be. There has been 5 confirmed deaths so far and dozens of cases, and it is spreading. The disease came from contaminated cooling towers. Good thing is it cannot spread person to person, and the tap water is safe. Yay. Please note the heat wave is not only impacting NYC, it is impacting the country and the world. Did y'all not see France melting the fuck away in real time? Like all their shit was melting. 2,000 people died, apparently, there due to the heat wave. That's insane. Europe's infrastructure cannot handle heat, but then maybe they should stop contributing to global warming. Hmm. Well, here is some good news. Lindsey Graham, the evil South Carolina senator, died last week. One down, so many to go. And his replacement is, drum roll please, his sister. I'm not going into details, but needless to say, she is not qualified to hold his seat. Her previous jobs included being an obstetrician and a public administrator. Please tell me what the fuck that has to do with being a senator. Like, please explain it to me like I'm five. I cannot. I just hate the double standard. Like, Republicans pitched a big fit when Sheila Jackson Lee's barred attorney daughter took her seat, but she was actually qualified for the job. I cannot. All I'm going to say about Senator Satan dying is good riddance. Speaking of people that should be dead, Mitch McConnell, the man has not been seen for over 30 days. His wife flew to China 3 days after he was hospitalized. The GOP is pulling a coup, and the American people are just letting it happen. I cannot. The GOP does not want to announce McConnell's death before August 3rd because there will have to be a special election, and a Democrat is likely to get the seat if there is a special election. They rather pull a Lindsey Graham and get a Republican into that seat, and they can do so if Mitch is not declared dead before August 3rd. Look, all I'm going to say is all the people that are in on this cover up, especially the congressional reps and employees, have to be removed from Congress. This is absolutely, unequivocally insane. And most importantly, election fraud. The thing that the GOP always screams the Democrats are doing, but we have never been caught to do so. This is I can't. I think he has been dead for quite some time now, and the doctors, nurses, the morgue, the hospital, his family, the GOP, his employees, and colleagues are covering it up. Here's a brief timeline of events. June 11th, McConnell cast his last floor votes in the Senate before the extended absence begins. June 14th, McConnell is admitted to the hospital in Washington, D.C., following an unreported fall at home. June 17th, McConnell's wife met with the Chinese vice president in Beijing. Her spokesperson stated that the trip was to support her family's philanthropic endeavors. Okay. She returned to the States in early July. Who travels for weeks abroad when their husband is in such critical condition? Hmm. July 12th, McConnell releases a formal statement and photo revealing he suffered a fall after losing consciousness, which led to a brief loss of consciousness and a subsequent bout of mild pneumonia. So him falling caused pneumonia, or the pneumonia caused the falling. Make it make sense. He notes tests ruled out strokes, heart attacks, or fractures. Currently, we have no return date for the senator to work, as Congress is a job paid by the American taxpayers. It's a job being senator. You work for the American people. He needs his ass back at work, or he needs somebody to replace him. Anyway, we have not seen McConnell out in public in over 30 days, like I said, and he has confirmed he has moved to a rehab facility and he is working with his staff, although he is not able to return to the Senate floor. Yeah, I think he's deader than dead. Mark my words. McConnell Gate has stirred House Democrats to introduce a new bill requiring members of Congress to undergo a mandatory cognitive impairment test. And I concur. I have no problem with the elderly being in public office because I'm not ageist like you other motherfuckers. But you have to be cognizant. It just blows my mind that no nurse, staffer, cousin, friend, GOP member has leaked what is really up with Mitch McConnell. Not one leak. Damn, interesting. Well, a little good news. The man who killed Democratic Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman is sentenced to 2 life terms plus 40 years in prison. And sadly, that's not enough. People forget about her, but talk about Charlie Kirk all day long. I cannot. Well, the White House Correspondents' Dinner happened this past weekend, and Trump said some very interesting things, per usual. And I quote, "When I'm gone, you're all gonna be broke." End quote. Well, for the first time ever, the president didn't lie. The only reason the journalism and the media outlets and the communication outlets are making money right now is because Trump's in office. When Biden was in office, they didn't make money because we didn't need to watch the news because Biden was sane. Anyway, that's not all Donald Trump attacked at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He also attacked late night host Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Stephen Colbert as talentless, and then proceeded to call Senator Adam Schiff an ugly watermelon head on a pencil neck. And the ugly watermelon head on a pencil neck, those are all quotes. This is y'all president. This is not my president. Also, real shit. This is not my president. I don't give a fuck. My president wouldn't say no crazy shit like that. My president wouldn't call Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Stephen Colbert talentless, and then proceed to call Senator Adam Schiff, and I quote, ugly watermelon head on a pencil neck on a global stage with global media. Yeah, my president wouldn't do that. My president wouldn't spew bullshit on a global stage with global media watching. So he's y'all president. Speaking of idiot Republicans, Vivek Ramaswamy said last week that Black people had stronger family structures in the 60s. Now, why the fuck are you discussing Black people when little girls are getting raped and set on fire as they walk to school in India? Isn't that a more pressing concern, Vivek? The family structure of your people that would allow their daughters to be raped and set on fire and have their best and brightest doctor raped to death by her coworkers and bosses because they were jealous of her intellect and pay scale. Yeah, Vivek, your people have more pressing concerns than that of my people in the 60s or now, because my people don't do that. So maybe you should focus on your people. Thanks. For the first time ever, Miami's cost of living has surpassed that of New York City's, only second to San Fran. Wow. Which is insane because Miami will probably not be around in 50 years. So I guess people aren't planning on leaving their homes to their descendants because Miami will be underwater in 50 years or less. A lot less time, actually. Random, slightly related fact. Please note 10 of the last 11 US recessions actually started under Republican presidents. So while y'all continue to vote for Republicans, I will never know. Another fun fact, a new Washington Post report shows that over 4 million Americans were stripped of their SNAP food assistance between July 2025 and March. Oh, and 1.5 million of them are children. Kids starving in the richest country in the world. Wow. I thought you guys cared about the kids. I thought you were pro-choice and cared about the lives of children. Hmm, interesting. Please note, the Trump administration also cut 600 million in funding for HIV and STD prevention programs. A move medical experts warn will cause a major surge in infections nationwide. Sweet. Yeah, ladies, I advise you to get on PrEP if you're sexually active. Get on PrEP. Married, single, engaged, get on PrEP. Just get on PrEP. In international news, Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega announces there will be no more elections in the country, eliminating any challenge to his rule. Please know, Nicaragua is a conservative authoritarian dictatorship. That's an oxymoron because authoritarian dictatorships are innately almost always conservative. Shocker. Watch Trump. He's going to do some shit like this. Watch. And the sad part is, he has already started and he already said he was going to do it. And everybody knows it. This motherfucker's going to try for a third term. He's going to try to get rid of elections. Watch. Mark my words. The GOP, per usual, is plotting on the midterm elections. When they can't win fair and square, they cheat. Apparently, Trump initiated a policy through a 2026 election executive order directing multiple federal agencies to take actions aimed at tightening election administration. And now, the U.S. Postal Service, led by Postmaster General David Steiner, drafted a proposed regulation to carry that out. Under the proposal, USPS would stop delivering absentee and mail-in ballots to states that refuse to provide certain voter registration and ballot information required by the executive order. In case you're wondering, this is indeed targeted Democratic voter suppression, if you didn't catch that. Thankfully, the DNC officially selected South Carolina to lead off the party's 2028 presidential nominating schedule. So hopefully that can circumvent all the bullshit the GOP is trying to do. Yay, Brother Clyburn is going to lead the Democrats to victory in 2028, like he did in 2020. And speaking of Rep. Clyburn, happy belated birthday to him. Y'all know I love a gullah man. As you should know, the previous Attorney General Pam Bondi was confirmed by the Senate in February 2025 after President Trump nominated her when his original pick, Matt Gaetz, withdrew. She was then fired by President Trump on April 2nd, 2026. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche then became acting Attorney General, and Trump later nominated him to permanently fill the position. However, Rep. Jasmine Crockett recently proposed the question, is it legal for Todd to take the role given he was the president's personal criminal defense attorney, making it likely that he is and will be biased and partial to the president? Some scholars believe he can assume the role if he can vow to remain impartial. Others say it is not illegal, as Crockett suggested, but is unethical, and he should at least recuse himself from cases involving Trump, as that would be a grave conflict of interest. Bruh, this country is going to hell. Anyway, speaking of Trump and his crimes, he had to pay E. Jean Carroll approximately $5.6 million last week after a federal judge ordered the release of money that had been held in escrow while Trump appealed the verdict. The payment came after the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal in that case. Good. Now it is confirmed y'all president is a rapist. Thank you and good night. And you want to know the irony? The irony is Melania did a Fox Business interview recently stating that, and I quote, Donald wants a country where women aren't raped. End quote. I cannot. And more MAGA news, Trump's legal problems continue to add up. He could be facing up to 20 years in federal prison for wire fraud stemming from his post-presidential campaign fundraising. Listen to this shit. According to reports, donors intending to contribute to the bipartisan congressional chartered American 250 group were allegedly given bank and routing numbers that redirected their wire transfers to Freedom 250, a separate entity set up under the Trump administration to promote a partisan agenda. Under federal law 18 USC section 1343, wire fraud carries a maximum statutory penalty of up to 20 years in federal prison per count. Let that sink in. I don't care how they get him under the jail, as long as they get him under the jail. In more GOP legal news, House Democrats led by Rep. Jamie Raskin are launching an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Let me say it again. Wait. In more GOP legal news, House Democrats led by Rep. Jamie Raskin are launching an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein acting as an unregistered foreign agent for multiple countries, including Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Israel, while using his ties to Trump to influence U.S. policy. Raskin is demanding records from the Trump administration right now. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised, bro. Epstein was protected by foreign powers around the world for a reason. And the only reason can't be just child sex trafficking. Now, think about that as you sip some tea. Speaking of Epstein, as of June 2026, Western Australia police announced they are reviewing their handling of Virginia Giuffre's case before her death. Please note that this is not the same thing as reopening the cause of her death as a homicide investigation. The original finding in April 2025 by authorities said the early evidence indicated Giuffre died by suicide and that there were no signs of suspicious circumstances, which we all know is bullshit. Oh, and if you need more evidence of the bullshit, French model recruiter Jean-Luc Brunel was found dead in a Paris cell while awaiting trial. Didn't Epstein die like that too? Hmm. Are we sure that they aren't dead and not on one of Epstein's private islands? Somebody should go check. As everyone knows, NYC's new mayor is always doing the most, good or bad, depends on which side of the aisle you stand on. Most recently, Mayor Mamdani has proposed to ban landlords from requiring both credit checks and income verification minimums on rental applications. Good. Either one or the other, but not both. Damn it. Don't bother me. Damn, like they asked for your firstborn child just to get a closet apartment in NYC. It's insane. Mamdani just launched a brand new pilot program in NYC offering parents free babysitting so they can actually have a date night out. Conservative media is already losing their minds over it. Adam Mockler retweeted it asking, so NYC is legit just puppies and rainbows now? End quote. Not quite, but honestly, I'm personally not a fan of the proposal. I think these parents got work to do. They need to be at home teaching their kids their cultural history, the country's history, morals, self respect, work ethic, and common sense. They can get a night out if their kid is on honor roll. How about that? The parents that let and believe the schools should raise their kids, should be at home teaching their kids. These idiots will go out and get pregnant again, knowing they can't feed and teach the kids they already got. So sorry, Mamdani. I don't agree. The mayor also, yo, he does so much and so little simultaneously. I cannot. The mayor also threatened Benjamin Netanyahu with arrest. And again, he overpromises and underdelivers because he technically does not have the legal authority to arrest Benjamin in NYC due to his international war crimes and warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Should he be arrested? Absolutely. Will he be arrested? Not likely. Now, there's an NYC probe into whether Mamdani broke the law by threatening Netanyahu arrest. Yeah, my advice to Mamdani, focus on local politics, NYC politics, state politics, not international affairs. Stay in your lane. All this is going on while pro-Israel advocacy groups and conservative organizations and critics within the local Jewish community held massive protests against him across the five boroughs over his stance on Israel and local anti-hate policies. I'm over it. He's the mayor. Organize and mobilize next time there's a mayoral election, and maybe he won't be. That's my advice. One good thing the mayor has done is apologize to the foundational Black Americans that built New York City. Remember that little quote he said that immigrants built New York? Well, not quite. Black freed and enslaved people built New York long before immigrants got here. There used to be a play off or on Broadway, whatever, entitled Black People Built New York. We need that play back, apparently, quickly. In international news, the female ban in Japan stays, despite an overwhelming 73 to 93% of the Japanese public supporting a female emperor. Parliament strictly maintained the rule that only men from the paternal bloodline can take the throne. This means Emperor Naruhito's popular 24-year-old daughter, Princess Aiko, remains completely barred from succeeding her brother. And the sexism continues. France is implementing a social media ban for kids under 15, and I concur. The parents aren't parenting, thus, the teachers cannot teach because of it. And incel culture is thriving via social media. Take the phones and the iPads away. Bill Maher, yes, him, stated he is open. You ready for this? He is open to voting for JD Vance in 2028. I'm not sure if I previously expressed this on a past episode, but Bill Maher isn't a Democrat. He isn't someone Democrats or Republicans should be listening to. He should be ignored or flogged in the street. He has done absolutely nothing to propel this country nor politics forward. He needs to just shut the fuck up. Someone on Twitter said it best, and I quote, Bill Maher is not your friend, Democrats. He's John Fetterman with a talk show. Time to turn him off, end quote. And I have no notes. He hasn't been relevant since the 90s. Let him go. Look, who he was then is not who he is now. Tune him out. Apparently, Don Lemon is considering running for president. And he should never, ever do that because he's a liar and a coon. And I will not elaborate further. In white people's stay mad news, white people are mad that Lupita is playing Helen of Troy in the new Odyssey movie that I've waited 20 years for. Well, to those people, I say, did you have a problem when Elizabeth Taylor played Cleopatra, a real life Black woman? No. So don't have a problem now when a real Nubian queen is playing a fictional character in a movie. Thanks. Someone said it best on Twitter. The people demanding a historical accurate Odyssey are the same ones trying to erase historically accurate depictions of slavery. End quote. Enough said, no notes. Caitlin Clark, this bitch, is not and will never be the face of the NBA. She is the face of what happens when mediocrity prevails over Black excellence. She has contributed nothing profound to the game and has caused more controversy and division in a game that once had none. To say she is better than White Mamba, Audrey Wilson, Angel Reese is absolutely insane and blatant lies. She simply lacks luster. And that bullshit record she broke last week was just that bullshit. And Angel also broke a record last week, but nobody cares about that. I cannot. She's also an Argentina fan, and that tells you all you need to know about her. Fuck her. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said it best, hence why he's the GOAT, and I quote, calling Caitlin Clark the face of the WNBA insults other players, end quote. No notes. Kareem is always on the right side of history. Some of y'all should try that. Biden has dropped a commercial for his new book, Promise Me, America, about his two campaigns and his 4 year administration that should have been 8. And I can't wait to read it. And Kamala's book, too. I still haven't read it. I'm still trying to get through Becoming by Michelle Obama. So many political books to read, so little time. Maybe I should start a little political book club. Hmm. Joe Biden just did an interview where she stated Joe admitted he fucked up about his poor debate performance with Trump when he got off stage, which I still didn't see. Nobody can perform poorly next to the orange buffoon, especially not a lawyer. Even if he was elderly with COVID, Joe was fine. America wasn't. Anyways. Hunter Biden has been going the fuck off on Twitter and in his interviews lately. Like, I never seen no shit like this from a presidential child ever in life. Oh my God. I love to see it. Go read the tweets and watch the interviews. In them, he fiercely and ferociously defends his father and himself, as he should. I mean, Hunter said Merrick Garland was the single greatest mistake of Joe Biden's entire administration. Damn. He said, and I quote, did you not see these people storming the Capitol? You didn't see a president and know that there was a concerted and planned effort? He doesn't do anything, end quote. Well, he has a point. But to Garland's credit, y'all got to stop coming for this man. He was supposed to be on the Supreme Court. He was not supposed to be Attorney General. But Democrats let Senator McConnell railroad Obama's Supreme Court picks. And here we are. So leave Merrick Garland alone. He did what he could. Here are some more quotes from Hunter's recent interviews and Twitter rants. Enjoy. Hunter called out the Biden crime family narrative directly in his Andrew Callahan interview, and I quote, I didn't do a single piece of business when my dad was president. I made basically 200,000 a year selling paintings. Meanwhile, Don and Eric have done over 1.3 billion in contracts for underlying companies they have ownership stake in with the DoD. End quote. Speak on it. No lies told there. They getting off like fat rats. Anyway, and when Don Lemon asked Hunter about Trump, Hunter held zero back, and I quote, I would tell him to go fuck his fucking self and please leave. This man has tried to torture me for fucking 10 years. The shit that he says about my dad, his obsession with tormenting my dad, hanging a picture of an auto pen on the colonnade, demeaning him. What the fuck kind of man would I be if I didn't tell him to go fuck himself? End quote. You wouldn't be a man at all, Hunter. Not at all. Go off. Hunter didn't stop there. He broke down how a closeted gay mafia, a Republican, runs Washington to Jennifer Welch and Angie Pumps on their podcast. And I quote, I believe the biggest problem in America is not the oligarchy, it's the closetocracy. Everybody knows there is this closeted gay mafia, largely Republican, that exists in DC. The only reason that is relevant is I believe that internal conflict creates so much vitriol inside a person that they take it out on the rest of the world. End quote. Well, I'll be goddamn. I didn't know nothing about no closeted gays in DC. Yo, nobody told me that one. Me and Hunter need to talk. Like, damn. Mic drop. Honey, Hunter is spiraling in all the good ways. He is spilling all the political tea and leaving no crumbs. And I believe him. It's some modern day J. Edgar Hoover shit going on in DC with the GOP, and it needs to be uncovered. He then went on to say, there is like this closeted gay mafia, largely Republican, that exists in Washington, D.C., and everybody knows every single one of them. I know for certain, and I'm not kidding now. Everybody in D.C. knows this. The only reason that it is relevant is because I believe the internal conflict creates so much vitriol inside a person that they take it out on the rest of the world. For Lindsey Graham, like everybody knows that Lindsey Graham was gay, right? End quote. Well, I didn't know. Well, shit. Yeah, I never, the motherfucker's so fucking evil. I never focused on if he was gay or straight or not, or who his wife was. And none, I never got into the weeds with that nigga. I was focused on the fuck shit the nigga was doing in Congress and to the great state of South Carolina. But now that I look back on it, yeah, the motherfucker probably was gay. He was a little sassy little bitch. Anyway. Yeah, Hunter, you got to enlighten me on this one. I did not know he was gay. Apparently, everyone knew but me. I'm not surprised, though. The Grinder app did crash during the last Republican National Convention due to overuse, I may add. Anyway, well, to close it out on Don Lemon's podcast, Hunter said, are you asking me if John Harley is gay? Are you asking me if Stephen Miller is gay? Are you asking me if Speaker Johnson is gay? End quote. Well, I'll be goddamn, yo. Bet you by golly, wow. Yo, Hunter, you're wildin'. It's spilling all the tea. And I would love to have you on the show ASAP. Please, please. If I had some money, I'd pay you. I need you on the show. Come on. Well, I wonder how Hunter feels about Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's dad, yes, Trump's son-in-law, dad, is threatening to leave NYC over the mayor's leadership. Good riddance. Someone on Twitter said that's one less perv in New York City. And I agree. Move to DC and be with your family. Oh, and Charles said he's leaving because the First Lady of New York is anti-Semitic. What? Never heard that one. Next story. I cannot. So remember when the guy that almost became the first black governor of Florida until he blew it and was found with a crack pipe and a gay prostitute? Yeah, well, he's back in the news for more of the same. He was found again and arrested for drug paraphernalia and possession charges. Bruh, just go back to rehab and go the fuck away. Like, I don't care where you go, but go away. I hate people that make the party look bad, especially during election season. That's that Monica Lewinsky shit that I don't like and I don't appreciate it. Motherfuckers like you make it hard for organizers like me when we're trying to get out the vote, GOTV, election time. And this gives all those Republicans and independents fucking balls to tell us that we're not the best party for the people. Go away. Some actual good news for the state of Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker just signed legislation establishing July 25th as Emmett Till Day. 71 years after his mother, Mamie Till Mobley, forced America to look at what hate does to a child, his name is officially on the calendar. Rest in peace, Emmett. You deserved so much more, so much better. Rest in power to Clara Esther, a civil rights activist who was one of the last remaining witnesses to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., has died. Also, rest in power to Professor Denise Oliver Velez, the first female member of the Young Lords Party's Central Committee, a member of the Black Panther Party, and a longtime advocate for civil rights, women's equality, and political journalism. Damn, I'm going to miss her woke tweets. She always had a good tweet when shit popped off. On the flip side of that, the widow of Jackie Robinson, Rachel Robinson, just turned 104 years old. Congratulations to her. Now, did y'all hear about the 36-year-old Black woman that shot dead the 20-year-old man that was found hiding under her 13-year-old daughter's bed? Honey, all I have to say about that is the Chinese man that shot the little boy in the back while he was running beat his case. So free her now. She's innocent. Ridiculous. Several police officers across the country have been investigated, disciplined, or removed from their jobs after allegedly using flock safety license plate reader cameras to improperly track people, including, but not limited to, spouses, romantic partners, co-workers, and family members for personal reasons. Yeah, what was that slogan people hated a couple years ago? Oh yeah, defund the fucking police. All right, here is all the things I didn't get to, but that really doesn't need to be expounded on. It's self-explanatory. Biden recently spoke at the Maryland Democratic Gala and dragged Trump for the botched DC reflection poll. He said, and I quote, "The reflecting pool reflects something even worse than the narcissism and incompetence at the core of this administration," Biden said. "It's the corruption, the brazen, blatant corruption. Corruption on a scale never seen before in American history in any administration." End quote. I concur, Mr. President. Wish you were back as president, but this is what the American people wanted. Or is it? Speaking of Trump fucking up things, he announced that work on the public East Potomac golf course starts September 1st, blatantly ignoring, willfully ignoring a federal judge's explicit warning of serious legal consequences if they dig without court approval. Look, if he breaks the order, judge, just lock him up. Lock him the fuck up. I just have one question. Who is paying for Trump's golf course? Because we know who is paying for the ballroom. The American people. Speaking of DC bullshit, in September, Republicans have announced their first ever dedicated midterm convention in Dallas this September to rally the base. I guess they will rally right before they will try to steal the midterm elections. Got it. The Dems better not try to replicate this bullshit because I barely have money for convention every 4 years. Don't even try it. On the international front, Brazil officially denied visas to two senior U.S. officials, citing serious concerns over America's attempt at election interference. Good. Remember the black gay dancer that was stabbed to death in Brooklyn outside of a gas station while voguing? Well, his white killer was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And I don't think that is enough time, especially since life in New York is 25 years. His sentence is less than life. He took a life. He should be sentenced to a life in prison. That's Hammurabi's law. He got off light. Apparently, he tried to plead self-defense and the court rejected the claim. How you defending yourself against someone voguing? Boy, bye. Like people, y'all, the isms be having y'all fucked up and the icks and all the things. Like homophobia really got y'all fucked up. It really do. Elon Musk is being investigated for election bribery, aka election fraud, in Wisconsin. You can't give away 1 million to register voters in swing states. Shocker. Wisconsin prosecutors are deciding if they want to press charges. I hope they do. Lock him up. And more billionaire news. Warren Buffett officially cut the Bill Gates Foundation out of his annual charitable donations following disclosures of Gates' ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Damn. I guess the whole eating babies thing was a little too much for Warren. Just imagine, though, building the number one foundation in the world in you and your husband's names, and he allegedly eats a baby and ruins it all. My God, my heart still goes out to Melinda and the kids. Sorry, even the billionaire men ain't shit. In other news, Charlie Kirk is getting, and I quote, a freedom monument in New York City. Why New York City? Why is it always my city? He wasn't from here and he didn't die here. What the fuck? The community boards and city officials are moving to reject permitting the statue, calling it, and I quote, an unauthorized political provocation in public space. End quote. Good job. I couldn't have said it better myself. In the middle of the night, the federal government replaced the historical panels detailing slavery at George Washington's house in Philadelphia. Mayor Cheryl Parker and local historians condemned the move as an attempt to whitewash history, you think? While federal authorities claim the updated panels provided broader context. I have no words. The fact that they did it at night tells you all you need to know. That's all you need to know, bro. At 94 years old, a Black woman in Virginia is fighting a proposed 99-acre data center that threatens to disturb a 200-year-old cemetery where her ancestors, including enslaved relatives, are buried. Damn. It's a damn shame. Like that it's a shame that elderly Black people are still fighting for our rights and dignity to live, to breathe, to thrive, and to rest peacefully at the end of our lives. It's so sad. Good luck to her. Speaking of data centers, deadly bacteria was found in Cheyenne, Wyoming's city water supply, which was traced directly back to cooling towers at Mark Zuckerberg's local Meta data center. Shocker. Stop the data centers, please. Just stop. It has to stop. You can't ruin the air, the water, the land, etc., etc. You're making the planet uninhabitable, and I don't want to live on Mars. And Mark Zuckerberg's evil continues since Reuters reported Meta allegedly used AI algorithms to flag and target employees with high cost medical conditions for corporate layoffs. Wow, I'll be goddamn. You can't win. Like, you can't even be fucking sick at work. Like, you work the job to get the damn insurance, and they firing you because the insurance gonna cost them too much because you may be sick. You can't make this shit up. Going back to Black women fighting, the other day was Black Women's Equal Pay Day. And in 2026, Black women still receive 65 cents on the dollar compared to non-Hispanic white men, despite consistently saving this country from itself and its people for centuries. Needless to say, we have every right to be bitter and mad as hell. Well, Howard University fucked up again, per usual. About 500 students showed up to campus this week to be told their $800 deposit, which is almost $500,000 in total, is being kept and that they were unenrolled because they had a balance on their accounts. Some balances as low as $1,400. I'll be damned. Now, 500 predominantly Black students do not know where they'll be attending school. Insane, but I'm not surprised because Howard did the same thing to me during law school admissions in 2020 and undergrad admissions in 2012. And I'm going to say this with my heart. My heart goes out to the students that are going through this. And Howard, do better. I heard y'all got some MAGA blacks in the administration that is running it into the ground. Fix it. Remember a few years ago when they had the kids sleeping with leaks and mold? Yeah, they've been on bullshit. Fix it, Howard. Alumni get on their asses. This doesn't look good. But apparently it was leaked. So the real tea is it was leaked that they had to deny 500 students because they over admitted, which is fine, but you have to give those people back their money. And you should have told them that in June and May. You don't tell them. Howard starts early, but when I went to Syracuse, they started about the third week of August. You don't tell nobody right before school starts that you're unenrolling them because they didn't finish paying when you don't even really need to be done paying until the second or third week of school. Just fix it. In the realm of fucked up things HBCUs are doing, Alabama Tuskegee University announced a new dress code banning bonnets, do-rags, and casual attire, with leadership claiming students need to, and I quote, dress more professionally. You know what? Fuck it. I actually agree with this new policy, and I will not discuss much further. There's nothing wrong with wearing sweats to class, but bonnets and do-rags are not acceptable. Everyone needs to do better. Another good thing happened. Look, these days you have to take the good things as they come, child. ICE was forced to temporarily freeze all vehicle stops nationwide following two fatal agency-involved shootings in Texas and Maine that killed an innocent bystander. Tragic situations, but great outcome. Rest in peace to the victim. I don't know what else to say about that. So, the removal of African American artifacts is not only happening in Philly, it is also happening in DC. Democratic Rep. Kwesi Mafum spoke out against political efforts targeting the African American Museum at the Smithsonian, stating, and I quote, if you erase it, we will replace it. It's that damn simple, end quote. Go off, Congressman. Go off. Germany's parliament passed a bill that criminalizes speech denying Israel's right to exist. Violators face up to 5 years in prison, applying similar legal frameworks used for Holocaust denial. Human rights organizations such as Amnesty International and legal scholars warned it infringes on constitutional free expression and protest rights. You think? Now to this bitch. Toronto Temple's coach Sandy Brondello received a one-game suspension and fine from the WNBA after broadcast mics caught her calling Atlanta Dream forward Angel Reese a protective species after a foul call. Brondello has since issued a public apology citing Australian sports slang, which Reese officially accepted. Interesting choice of words, especially when y'all protect that little bitch Caitlin Clark like she's a fucking precious metal, like she's a gem that can't be touched. The audacity. And if you are a coach in Canada, why the fuck are you talking about Australian sports slang? Yeah, miss me with the bullshit. She should have gotten more time suspended and a bigger fine. In more white women news, Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett testified that she fears for her life and has to wear a bulletproof vest around her children, and that Supreme Court justices need security expansion. Girl, I hope you have to sleep in that vest every motherfucking night. The reason y'all are threatened is because of y'all's support of Trump. Next story. It's not the Democrats that don't like the Supreme Court. It is MAGA that doesn't like the Supreme Court. And that's who got you in that seat, Justice Coney Barrett. Anyway, UK courts have ruled that Trump has to give up his financial disclosures in his BBC case, where he filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC over their 2024 Panorama documentary titled Trump, A Second Chance? Question mark. Yo, it's always in Panorama with some shit. Anyway, in the documentary, edited footage from Trump's January 6th speech spliced together quotes delivered nearly an hour apart to make it sound like a continuous call to march and fight like hell. Crucially, the edit cut out his line asking supporters to demonstrate peacefully and patriotically. The BBC publicly apologized for what it called an error of judgment, always an error of judgment, just like with Diana, right? And the controversy led to the resignations of top BBC news executives. However, the BBC refused to pay monetary damages, per usual, and moved to dismiss the suit. Since Trump claimed the documentary damaged his personal brand and businesses, he has to prove. See, y'all be claiming all this shit. You got to prove this shit in court. He has to prove all of that by submitting his financial documents, which he does not like to do. And we found that out in the 2016 race. I don't think he still has submitted his documents to Congress or whoever he's supposed to submit it to. Anyway, his lawyers are currently trying to amend the lawsuit to claim only reputational harm to avoid releasing those sensitive business records. Yeah, because releasing them will probably get him into some other shit. New Jersey's Governor Carroll says a review found that nearly 400 non-citizens cast ballots in elections and 6,600 non-citizens were improperly registered to vote between 2023 and 2024. What happened was when people apply for driver's licenses or state IDs, the system asks if they wish to register to vote due to a vendor software glitch. Thousands who explicitly checked that they were not U.S. citizens were still automatically processed onto the voter rolls. The software vendor has since been terminated, and all impacted people have been removed from the voter rolls. Interesting. The Paramount Warner Brothers merger has been delayed 2 weeks because the federal antitrust regulators issued a secondary request for documents. The concern is that the merger will enable the studios to have a monopoly across cable news, sports, broadcasting rights, and streaming market control. You think? Fun fact, every day that the merger is delayed, Paramount loses $7 million. Damn. Multiply that times 14 days. Sheesh. That's $98 million in 2 weeks. Damn. Well, that's what happens when you try to create a monopoly right before the American people's eyes. Speaking of Fortune 500 companies, Disney is laying off several hundred employees, with the majority of studio cuts being from Pixar. I swear they bought Pixar to destroy it. Oh no. The millennial in me is so sad. Like, I can't. I hope those terminated five work really soon. Good luck. The job market is a bitch right now in every sector. Thanks, Trump. Since RFK has taken office as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services, the following diseases have spiked since he took office: measles, whooping cough, cyclosporiasis, that's the new diarrhea bug going around making everybody shit, E. coli and listeria, the flu, rotavirus, and many, many more. New CDC stats confirm over 2,300 measles cases already in 2026, surpassing all of last year. We are seeing more preventable diseases outbreaks right now than in the last 25 years combined. Elections matter, people. Speaking of elections, Utah Rep. Trevor Lee, who sponsored the state's public school pride flag ban, lost his Republican primary election. He lost by 30 points. Good, dumbass. And more election news. Democrat Faye Thomas pulled off a 37-point upset in a special election win in South Carolina. Yes. Flipping a historically conservative state legislative district. Please note, This is a town that Julia Roberts in 1990 said was, and I quote, horribly racist and a living hell, while she was filming the movie Sleeping with the Enemy. Please note, the town voted for Trump in 2024. I feel a blue wave coming. Pope Leo made a trip to Cameroon, and there he gave a speech where he stated, and I quote, the world is being dragged to ruin in the hands of a handful of tyrants, end quote. I wonder who he was talking about. Trump, Kim Jong-un, Putin, yeah, Netanyahu, all of them. Look, I'll end with this quote from someone on Twitter. At this point, the US government is nothing more than a shell organization being used for money laundering. End quote. Yeah, pretty much. No notes. With that being said, thank you for listening to my political pontification. If you liked it, loved it, or hated it, please tell a friend to tell a friend. And please check out my website, The Political Tea, for clips and episode synopsis. You can generously donate to my chai latte habit on it. And if you want to check out my political banter live, I am a reoccurring host on the For the People podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So check me out there. The live stream link is on my link tree. Thank you.